ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to the CD Racoola show. Today's show is going to be a Cockadoodie of an episode as we take a look at the 1990 film Misery. Cockadoodie is a word that I had never heard until watching this film, so I intend on saying it at least 5 more times throughout this review. Cockadoodie, that's a good word. This film was, of course, based on the novel written by my boy, Stephen Edwin King. I always like to remind everyone out there in YouTube land that Stephen King's middle name is Edwin. I'm sure he loves that. Not that he ever watches his show, but whatever. Either way, Mr. King is most definitely a goat of horror. This film, set in snowy Colorado, sees Paul Sheldon, the author of the hit series, with the character aptly named Misery Chastain. And Paul is finishing up his final book in the series, where Misery dies during childbirth. Oh, poor Misery. After Paul is finished, he's driving home from his remote cabin and has an accident, flipping his car and nearly dying in the process. He's then rescued by his superfan, Annie Wilkes, who nurses him back to health, or at least somewhat healthy. Paul soon realizes he has now become the prisoner of Annie Wilkes as her depravity deepens throughout the film. Okay, so now we have got all that out of the way. I can tell you this, if I was to have a conversation with Paul in this film, I would say, at least you have one rabid fan. I would kill for a fan of the CD Racoola show of that caliber. Come on, Paul, at least she cares about your stuff. Paul Sheldon was played by James Caan, whom I really liked in this film, but the real star of this film, in my not-so-humble opinion, was Annie Wilkes, played by Kathy Bates. By the way, to all you Hollywood guys out there, if you're going to make a horror film, you have to understand that us horror fans don't watch these movies for the heroes. We don't. In fact, we don't care about the heroes at all. We love ourselves some villains. Team bad guy over here. So make the villains the stars of the show, and you'll have our black hearts, rather, in the palm of your greasy little hands. Oh, Cockadoodie, was Kathy Bates ever good in this film? She really made your emotions and thoughts on the character Annie Wilkes go flippy-floppy and topsy-turvy. In the beginning, she seems like such a sweetheart, doesn't she? She seems so nice, whom is just helping out an injured human in need. Then she starts getting a little bit more violent, loud and crazy, and we start to realize, oh dang, she is really cray-cray. Then we start to kind of feel sorry for poor Annie, that she's lonely and she just wants herself a book-writing man. The part that everyone loves in this film, and I don't disagree with this, and also the part that makes you cringe in pain, is when she hobbles Paul with the sledgehammer. You remember that part? Oh, you know, a sledgehammer to the ankles. That has to hurt. Even after that, we still had some leftover love for Annie and her pet pig, aptly named Misery. The part of this film that let me know that Annie had lost her cockadoodie mind was when she shot poor Sheriff Buster, played by Richard Farnsworth. They really made you love Sheriff Buster in this film, with his little witty banter back and forth with his wife. Oh, that was fun, till he got his body blown away with a shotgun. When Annie Wilkes shot the lovable sheriff with that shotgun, you know she had officially lost it, and that's when Paul took things into his own hands. One of the things I love about horror films is when you think the bad guy is dead, and then they come back for more. When Annie hit her head on the typewriter, we assume that was all she wrote, no pun intended. But she came back with a vengeance. It made me yell, "Cockadoodie!" in fear. All in all, it was a great film, and actually won an Oscar, believe it or not. I'm totally in love with this movie, if you couldn't tell, and we'll be reflecting that love on the Oscarometer. How about that? As this is one of my favorite horror movies of all time. All time. You hear that? All time. I would like to thank you for joining me here on the CD Racoola show, and if you could hobble on over and take out your sledgehammer and absolutely smack the cockadoodies out of that subscribe button, I would be ever so grateful. Come on, just do it for CD. Please join me next episode on the show when I slither and coil myself around the film Anaconda. That film had a low-key, good cast, kind of. So, till next time, my little bloodbags out there in YouTube land, if any of you want to be an obsessive fan of the CD Racoola, feel free. I could use a few of you crazies out there. See you next time. See you next episode. Ta-ta. Ta-ta.